PayPal Corporation. I think you knew this one had to be on the list at some point in time. If you're a loyal watcher of the channel, you knew PayPal had to be on the list, right? I mean, PayPal is real simple, and I talk about this stock so much, obviously, right? Their last quarter, they grew revenues 8%. They grew earnings per share over 60%. The stock's trading at a forward P of 12 on the company. Are you kidding me? The stock price is down 31% in the past 5 years. They own two of the top three most dominant finance-related apps in certainly the United States of America, if not the world, PayPal and Venmo. They have this Braintree service, which is absolutely phenomenal back-end solution for merchants. They own some other businesses as well. And I mean, my gosh, just growth for as far out as the eye can see in terms of revenue growth. And I believe they'll be able to grow their bottom line at even a faster clip than their top line. So when I look at PayPal, they got a new CEO incoming. I'm sure he'll help take the company to the next level. And I'm sure once he gets on the job, it's going to be a welcome, thing from Wall Street, in my opinion, because Wall Street didn't really like Dan Schulman, the old CEO. You can see the way the stock has performed. Like, they just didn't like him. They didn't like his strategies. And now we got Mr. Chris coming in from Intuit. Intuit, one of the most beloved stocks in the stock market. This man knows how to play the game of running a great business, building a great business, and simultaneously running a great stock. And so we'll see how everything transpires. But yeah, PayPal definitely severely on sale right now, okay? Palantir Technologies, massive move down here today, down over $7,000 on Palantir shares. Obviously, the stock's doing well for us overall. We're up $34,000 on the stock, even after today's massive move down, up about 70%. So what happened with Palantir today? Okay, so what happened with Palantir? The stock fell, now it's like 7-8%, but it was down 9% after Morgan Stanley downgraded the shares to underweight and raised the price target on the stock to $9 from $8. Thanks for the raise of the price target from 8 to 9. We do appreciate that, Morgan Stanley. So nice of you. So dang nice of you. Oh, you got to be flipping my flapjacks. Come on, man. Okay, so what's Morgan Stanley saying here? Well, the analyst said, near-term optimism in AI, product cycle, and valuation premium creates an unfavorable risk-reward in the stock, as visibility on artificial intelligence platform AIP monetization still remains low. The government segment seems unlikely to provide an offset, and estimates already imply a second-half reacceleration. The analyst noted that their view is based on expected delays in AIP revenue contribution, given management commentary, which Palantir has yet to figure out how to monetize it. I freaking told you guys. I told you guys that line was going to come back and Wall Street was going to make a huge deal about it. As the moment I heard that out of Karp's mouth, I knew there's going to be a bunch of individuals on Wall Street that are absolutely going to flip out and they're going to freak out. Oh my gosh, Palantir doesn't know how to monetize AIP yet. What? They're talking about they're going to figure out a way, but they don't know yet. I knew that line was going to come back to bite. I freaking knew it. And sure enough, it did. Man, when you've been doing this 15 years, like, you know how all these Wall Streeters think. You know what's going to trigger them to want to buy a stock, sell a stock, things like that. And when I heard that, I was like, not a good look, man. Risk that the government business may not be able to offset a top-line deceleration after recently beginning to deteriorate. In addition, the analyst's view is also predicated on a difficult setup in the second half of the year's revenue outlook already implies an acceleration in estimated organic revenue growth, ex strategic investments in the Japan JV contribution, joint venture there, which sets a higher bar for the positive estimate revision needed to justify valuation. Palantir has a strong buy rating at Seeking Alpha's quant rating system, but meanwhile, authors have it as a hold, right, on average. So that's interesting. Even that just shows how much of a divisive stock Palantir is, because the quant rating system has Palantir as a strong buy. Meanwhile, humans have it as a hold on average as Seeking Alpha. Like, it's just intriguing, right? Now, I want to go through a couple comments in regards to Palantir here that I saw in this article, or it wasn't even an article, it was a press release that I thought was very interesting from some folks, okay? But before we get into that, just kind of my finalized thoughts on this Morgan Stanley note. I understand it. I'm of the expectation that we were going to get some of these analyst type downgrades and just kind of negative looks from people that are already, remember, Morgan Stanley's already not very bullish on Palantir. If you got an $8 price target on it, that's what their price target was. yeah, you're clearly not very bullish. You up it to $9, you're clearly not very bullish, right? So it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. And yeah, I'll leave it there. In terms of software revenues, it's so important that almost pretty much no one's going to be making big money from the software side until 2024. It's not happening this year. This is a hardware year. This is the hardware year. Next year starts the software year. Snowflake CEO said that. Where it's basically what we're getting from almost every company out there. You got to build the infrastructure first. You got to build the hardware side. Why do you think NVIDIA is selling chips like for any freaking price right now? It's because NVIDIA is so in demand right now because everybody's got to build out that hardware side first. Then we can talk about the software side in 2024, right? So that's kind of my perspective there, right? And a lot of people believe that Karp and the team are really using AIP as not necessarily a direct revenue generator for that, although it could be. They're looking at that as kind of a more of a Trojan horse to be able to sell Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, different products like that to customers, depending upon whether they're government customers or commercial customers, okay? Now, a couple interesting comments I saw. One was from this gentleman, this Thomas44, okay? This was his comment. He says, 1, Palantir's business continues to grow at an aggregate rate in its TAM, total addressable market, is about to expand exponentially in the coming years. That's definitely a belief I have as well. We'll see if it comes true. 2, insider selling has decreased significantly versus 2021 and 2022. 3, the business reported GAAP profitability. By the way, I would like to see less selling from insiders than they have right now. I would like to see it even tame down a bit. That would even give even more confidence around the stock and where the company's going over the next 3 to 5 years. 3, the business reported GAAP generally accepted accounting principles profitability and stock-based compensations continue to decrease with each passing quarter as its SBC stock-based compensation decreased to $114 million against $145 million a year ago. 4, both its top line and bottom line have improved both quarter over quarter and year over year. 5, GAAP profitability now and the company is projecting increase in its adjusted income from operations, gross revenues, and free cash flow going forward. 6, company just announced obviously the recent $1 billion share buyback. On top of all this, Palantir could be included in the SP 500 in the coming quarter, and it would become eligible for the inclusion after the release of the Q3 earnings report later this year, when the company is expected to report a 4th consecutive profitable quarter, obviously, right? So, that's that gentleman's comment there. I think it's a pretty good kind of, fight back against the Morgan Stanley one, right? This comment cracked me up and said, which one of their clients wanted to buy Palantir for less? You could say it that way. You could also say, who's got a little short position out there as well, right? You can always look at these things, and these are things you never know. You never know what you can prove and what you can't prove, but I thought that was pretty comical, right? And then these two were interesting too. I have to believe that Morgan Stanley keeps on publishing their downgrades as a vendetta against the direct listing the company did. They come out with these downgrades multiple times a year. They might be right, but it seems odd. Who knows? I have no clue. Interesting how Morgan Stanley added 56% to their position last quarter. This couldn't possibly be adding more to this downgrade, could they? So, yeah, and I don't keep track of, what these folks are adding for their positions or subtracting, so I don't know. I'm assuming that's accurate, given the fact that it has 14 likes, but, you never know what the objectives are with this. It could just be that's how they really feel. It could be other things, ulterior motives. We never know, right? And that's the beauty of Wall Street. You never really know what the true motive there is or is not, right? But, my opinion is, I continue to be a Palantir long. I'm bullish on the long term. I think the short term is going to continue to be volatile with the stock, as I spoke about on my reaction channel last night. I think we could be kind of that 14, 15, all the way up to $20 range here for a bit, and just kind of shaking around. And 1 minute it looks great, and the stock's roaring, and the next minute it's down 9% in a day. I think that's just going to be what continues on. So